Ayahuasca, she's everywhere these days. Everywhere, it seems. I've been working with her for almost 20 years, and never did I imagine that ayahuasca would be something everybody and their grandmother would want to experience. So we are definitely in the throes of a renaissance with her. She is everywhere, from a Brooklyn warehouse to a yurt in Finland, to a house in Las Vegas, to a maloca in Peru. So today we're asking the question, is that ethical to take her far and wide? Does ayahuasca herself want to be carted to the ends of the earth? And so let's explore that. First and foremost, I want to emphasize that if people come to me and say, hey, where should I sit with ayahuasca? Where is the most powerful thing? Does it matter? It does matter to a certain extent. There is nothing that replaces an experience of a deep dive with ayahuasca in her home in the jungle. To get to experience the profound consciousness of the Amazon. And I will even add the exuberance of ayahuasca herself, getting to show us, her children, what it is to experience the womb of the earth. It's so magical. But that said, I'm well aware that we all don't have the resources or the time, the capacity to drop everything and go to one of the most exotic places in the world, the Amazon jungle. So then is it okay that we're seeking out connections with ayahuasca outside of her home? I say yes, unequivocally yes, it's okay, for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, there's a lot of indigenous leaders that they themselves are medicine carriers of ayahuasca, taking her to the most unexpected places. And I look to the indigenous leaders as my examples of what is aligned with the spirit of ayahuasca. That said, there are many indigenous leaders that feel the opposite, that are very strongly passionate about the fact that ayahuasca should be left in the jungle and that we should only work with her there. So who's right? Everybody's right, you know? And this is classic ayahuasca in terms of the lessons that she teaches us, because what she tells one person is the truth. Let's say she tells person A, you are only to work with me in the jungle. Don't ever take me elsewhere. That's true for them until it's not. And she may tell the person sitting next to them, I want you to take me to Scandinavia, you know, to a church in Africa. Like, that's their truth too. So it can all fit in the context of honoring the wishes of ayahuasca, that some of us feel strongly to cultivate a relationship in the jungle and some of us don't. And that's okay. We don't have to agree. My invitation, her invitation, is can we let each other have a unique and individual relationship with her? And even if there's conflict in terms of I heard something different, let's not make each other wrong. We're all doing our best to honor our own path of healing and to be reverent to the consciousness of ayahuasca. But the other thing I wanted to emphasize is any of us who have had a deep dive with this incredible master plan, it is so abundantly obvious how potent and powerful she is, way beyond the power of our little egos, that it makes it abundantly clear what is happening in terms of her global expansion is exactly what she wants to happen. In other words, this plant is so wise, so conscious, so powerful, we can't impose our will on her and essentially make her a victim. To me, that's completely laughable. So what ayahuasca wants, ayahuasca gets. You know, she was kept as a best kept secret in the jungle for centuries. And then in our lifetime, she said, okay, game on, I'm expanding. I want to expand my vines all over the world. And so that's what's happening. Yeah. And so it isn't an accident, and we certainly aren't victimizing the consciousness of this plant. She's far too wise and powerful to be to have her will circumvented by ours. I know I am not that powerful. And at the same time, because we each have individual relationships with her, she's going to reflect to each of us the truth of what is in our highest good in terms of that relationship we have with her. So it could be that, I'll use myself an example. I moved to Las Vegas from Los Angeles many, many years ago because Aya asked me to carry her there. Of all places, I was in a process of getting sober, and she's like, hey, yeah, let's move to Las Vegas and you're going to pour me there. What? So I didn't know what that would look like. I thought it was crazy, but I followed that instructions and all kinds of magical things happened. But then my relationship with her changed. Then she had different requests. Now I work with her in Peru. I go to her home and honor that relationship, that request in that regard. So it's dynamic. It's going to shift and change. None of it is wrong. And so as participants, we don't have to feel that we're betraying her wishes if we can only access her by sitting in a local ceremony or, going someplace other than the jungle. If she wants you in the jungle, she'll call you. Just like she calls each of us to work with her, we become so completely aware of that calling and that request. It will also be abundantly clear if and when it involves the jungle. And if we're carriers of her, all the more. If we're taking her places as hosts, as facilitators, whatever role we're playing, that communication we have with her will be clear in terms of what her wishes are. And our wishes matter too. So we get to co-create in that partnership. We're not abusing her by working with her elsewhere. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people are really loud these days around the ethics of bringing her out of the jungle. And I recently shared my story of getting arrested because of a package of ayahuasca, clearly outside of the jungle. And some prominent members of the plant medicine community reflected back to me that I deserved that because I was dishonoring her wishes. That is a projection of shadow and shame that is theirs to own, not mine. I know my integrity with her. She's asked me to do things. I have done them, and we've had a magical journey. This was a rite of passage for me, and it's an opportunity for me personally to stand for her in the legal system, to get to help educate one more DA, a few more judges, more people around the difference between plant medicines and drugs, recreational drugs, right? You're never going to pick somebody up on the side of the street tripping on ayahuasca. Not going to happen. So my request is that we all stop projecting our truths as if they are the truth onto other people, because it's a way that we're shaming and we're hurting each other, and it's not necessary. Somebody's sharing that these conversations have tripped her up on her journey in connecting with ayahuasca. So much programming to release. Yeah, exactly. Because in order to hear the truth of what this plant is communicating, we have to do the work of unraveling the programming that we've taken on, usually from our parents, our society, and so much of it is based in shame. Let's remove that from the equation and do our best to just honor what is true for us. And if it's different in terms of what is true for someone else, do our best not to shame them. Our truth doesn't have to be everybody's truth. Ayahuasca is such a prime teacher of the fact that truth is multifaceted. So we know what ayahuasca herself wants. It's exactly what's happening. That's what she wants. But there's another element to work with when in doubt. So if you're in a relationship with this medicine and you feel called to take her places and you're not sure what she's communicating, when in doubt, let's follow the leadership of the indigenous peoples who have been working with her in their lineages and tribes for a gazillion years. And so if your elders, if the people that you trust to hold a profound relationship with her say it's okay to take her to Finland, then do so. And if not, listen to their wisdom. All of us who are carriers, it is fundamental that we have teachers, that we have elders, that we have people that we trust to shine a light on our own shadow, to give us an opportunity to unravel some of the programming that somebody mentioned, and to get deeper into the truth of what we know our calling is all about. And when we find that maybe ayahuasca has reflected that we've been out of alignment with those wishes, not to shame ourselves, but to celebrate the new awareness of, aha, I have a new layer of consciousness around what is being asked, around the relationship with the plant, to always celebrate that, because we're never going to get it perfectly. We are all human, we're all evolving, we're all going to keep having a dynamic relationship with her. And that's really what I wanted to share, to celebrate the fact that ayahuasca gives different messages to different people, and that if at any point she wants to put the kibosh on this global expansion, she will. She definitely will. She's in charge here, not us, and to remain in that space of humility and love and reverence for her. Thank you for listening, for joining in on the conversation, and for caring enough about the relationship with her that you're looking for your truth. Next week, I'm going to be talking about why training is so integral to anyone who chooses to step behind the altar, especially with ayahuasca. So we're going to talk about what that means and what the landscape is like these days with people who are stepping forward without training, and how dangerous that is and how it puts everyone at risk. So I will see you there. Thank you all for all the work you're doing to illuminate and evolve our beautiful planet. So much love. See you next time.